Mold-like substance. The original UPCS standards did not make any real distinction between 1 square foot of light mildew or mold and seriously reprehensible conditions. Over the last decade or so, HUD came under a lot of criticism by the legislative branch of government and was under a lot of political pressure to begin aggressively attacking the problem of mold and mildew in HUD housing. This and lead paint issues were two of the most frequently cited health issues mentioned whenever someone in government came down on HUD and REAC for allowing, not in my words, but in words from various media accounts, deplorable living conditions to persist in some HUD-funded communities. Of course, REAC inspectors are not required to be certified in the detection and remediation of mold, so we call the new standard mold-like substance. Under this new standard, we now have 3 tiers or categories of deficiency for the presence of something or anything that seems to be mold or mildew. We also have a 4th deficiency to cover elevated moisture level, in other words, conditions that may promote the growth of mold and mildew even if none is detected. So let's go right to our short definitions and scoring. Deficiency 1, we have moderate levels of something that looks like mold and mildew, over 4 square inches, but less than a square foot in a room cumulatively. And this is a moderate deficiency at 0.22 in a unit. It is a low severity deficiency on the inside at 0.09. It can't be sited outdoors, of course. Deficiency 2, there's high levels, more than a square foot, but less than 9 square feet in a room cumulatively. That is a severe deficiency in a unit at 0.59, a moderate deficiency inside at 0.2. Deficiency 3, extremely high levels, more than 9 square feet in a room, and that is considered life-threatening in a unit at 2.4 points. I hope we don't see that very often. More than 9 square feet, that's a lot of mold and mildew in a dwelling unit. Inside, like in a mechanical area, that would be considered a severe deficiency at 0.54. I like that the deficiencies 1, 2, and 3 are kind of escalating from the lowest to the highest severity. And then we've got D4, which is just an elevated moisture level. That goes back to a moderate deficiency in the unit at 0.22, a low severity deficiency on the inside. So let's go from there to our full definitions. Mold-like substance. A mold-like substance can include regular or irregular patches or spots on surfaces that may be colored differently than the surface. In parentheses, coloration may be white, green, yellow, gray, brown, or black, and can be raised from the surface and are generally composed of minute filaments. A mold-like substance can appear fuzzy or cottony, and a musty or earthy odor can be associated with it. Mold-like substance would also include what is often identified as mildew, i.e., small patches, generally on non-porous surfaces, and dusty or friable when dry. Mildew is generally a thin surface growth that can be wiped off easily. Note that algae are not mold-like substances. Algae are typically green or grass green. Deficiency 1 is the presence of mold-like substance at moderate levels is observed visually. Deficiency, cumulative area of patches is more than 4 square inches and less than 1 square foot in a room. Deficiency 2, presence of mold-like substance at high levels is observed visually. Deficiency, cumulative area of patches is more than 1 square foot and less than 9 square foot in a room. Deficiency 3 is the presence of mold-like substance at extremely high levels is observed visually. Deficiency, cumulative area of patches is more than 9 square feet in a room. Deficiency 4, elevated moisture level. Deficiency, there's an elevated moisture level. More information. Infrared cameras are optional and will not be used on their own to evaluate this deficiency. If a thermal anomaly is observed using an infrared camera, the moisture meter must be used to confirm whether there is an elevated moisture present. We'll come back to that in a moment. This goes on to say, if there's evidence of an active leak, evaluate the condition under leak water standard or under the leak sewage system standard, respectively, or as appropriate. If a mold-like substance is present, then evaluate the condition under deficiency 1, 2, or 3, or 4 of this standard. So back to the idea of infrared cameras. At one point, REAC was proposing to have every REAC inspector carry a thermal camera so that they could take infrared pictures of the inside to see that if there were thermal anomalies in the exterior walls that might indicate the infiltration of cold air or the formation of moisture between the walls. This was an extremely unpopular thing amongst inspectors and quality assurance reps. It also proved to be very time-consuming. It also proved to be fairly fruitless in terms of what they discovered with this. And REAC has pretty much abandoned having inspectors carry infrared cameras. It's expensive equipment to purchase. It's cumbersome to carry. It's time-consuming to use. REAC has pretty much abandoned that plan, but inspectors will still be required to carry a moisture meter, a pinless moisture meter, so that when they suspect that walls, floors, or ceilings are damp, they've got a meter so that they can actually test the moisture levels in the materials. So that's it for our mold-like substance standard. Thanks for viewing.